Let's get into it, man.
Yeah.
Um,
Let's go.
the world was introduced to the Yagas. Do I have Yagas, right? That's how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
We were all introduced to the Yagas back in the fall, like right around Halloween time. But the band actually goes back to 2023, goes back another year of what I've read. It started at the Rock Academy, where you guys kind of all met and started jamming and really became a thing. Is that accurate? And if that is the case, like, what was that time like for you guys?
Yeah. So Jason Bowman is our drummer. He owns the Woodstock Rock Academy with his wife Acacia Ludwig.
Mhm.
Um, they are both incredible musicians, and we became friends through the program. We all had kids in the program. My daughter and my son were both in the program. So, and as is Mark Visconti, son was in it, and Mike Davis has his kid Leo, and you know after like a few seasons, because they do these seasonal shows of like sitting in the parking lot while your kids are inside having a blast and like having this like crazy clubhouse with you know where you can like write on the walls and like you know it's just insane. And you're sitting in the parking lot and you're thinking the whole time for 3 hours and you're like, why didn't I have this when I was a kid?
You're
You know what
like,
I
I
mean?
want to do it
Well,
too.
well, I just, I grew up on a farm in
Oh, wow.
in Ossining, New York, and
Wow.
I didn't really have this access to, you know, to music and just to, exploring my own creativity. I just didn't have it. I discovered it through skateboarding. Ironically, as a kid,
Nice.
that's where
Nice.
I found my crew of friends. They were all from like we're talking in the late '80s here, right? But like
Oh, yeah.
there'd be like the one or two like skate kids from the other town or from that town, and we'd all meet up at the AMP, which is a supermarket in this other town, and because there was a painted curb, and that's where I would like learn about other music and just like meet kids who are like me, right?
Hmm.
There's a big connection between skateboarding and music,
Yeah.
and
Oh, yeah.
and in any event, after just sitting in these parking lots, in this parking lot, you're like, why didn't I have this? And then you realize, oh, they have an adult program, and then someone as a joke signed me up for it, and I
Nice.
took the bait. So I took the bait, and I was like, yeah, I'll do it, whatever, why not, keep primed while I'm not, doing deadsy stuff, right? And my wife
Right.
joined me, and Mark was in it, and so was Mike, and Jason is the teacher. And I think that just through natural selection of like kind of playing music together, Jason's the teacher, but he also plays in it, and it's the adult
Yeah.
in the adult program. And just think through natural selection, we all kind of found each other. And then at dinner one night, Jason was like, "Why don't we write some original songs?" He said that he and his wife said that to Vera and I, and we took the bait. And we wrote a song very quickly. Our first song
Hmm.
was a song called "I Am." Have you heard the whole album yet?
I have not. I'm actually sent Barry an email to get that album
Oh,
today because I
okay,
just realized it
okay.
comes out next week. So
It does. It comes in next Friday.
I gotta
Yeah,
hear it.
yeah. And
Yeah.
so it was a really dynamic song, right? And I was like, seems strange that we just have this alchemy that like we just get together and this is what comes out of us, because that's not always the case when you jam with people.
Yeah.
More
Yeah.
often than not, your jams are just like space jams when you like get together with people. This was like really dynamic. I had all these different parts and had all these different like influences woven into it from each of the band members, that we were like, okay, we wrote one, let's write another, and then before you knew it, we had like 10 songs. And this all started back in 2023, and we were doing Weekend Warrior stuff. Everybody is busy. Everybody's got lives, and we would meet up like for 3 hours on a Sunday and write, and an album just came out of it. And so we are a DIY project, and I produced it, but not because I have some massive I'm not, a dream to be a record producer. It's just because, well, I could do it. There's a studio
Hmm.
over there. Let's use it. And, we just used the resources that we had available to us, and this is what came out of it. And
That's awesome.
it's a really cool, I would say, genre blending almost. When you hear the full album, I think you'll be, it'll kind of all make sense to you. Right now we've released 3 very different songs from one another.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and it's hard to put it in a box, but we're not trying to be put in a box. I think, we don't have anyone telling us what to do. So, we're just doing what feels natural for us. But I think as a collection, it feels like an album. It really does make sense. So
yeah,
I'm excited to hear it.
And I can tell that from the 3 songs. They're all, like you said, they're all very different. Crying Room was very eerie and like not ominous, but it had a vibe. It definitely had a vibe to it. And then like She's Walking Down, like it really reminds me of the band Him. I'm a huge Him fan, and it has that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Has that kind of feel to it a little bit.
Yeah.
And so like everything the 3 songs I've heard are all very, very different from each other. And it's hard to put a genre on them because they all have their own identity. And I always struggle when it comes to genres to begin with, because my definition of what something sounds like may be different than yours or someone else's. And I may tell someone, oh, it sounds like punk, and they're like, no, it sounds like hardcore. So completely different, for everybody.
And I'm used to it too, because I was in a band called Dead Sea for ages, and we were called nu metal. But I don't, and maybe now in retrospect, you look back at it and you're like, oh yeah, that was part of that thing, that scene, that nu metal scene. At the time, it didn't feel that way. At the time, it felt like what we were doing was very, very different. Our influences were like Roxy Music, Rush, Black Sabbath, and like Duran Duran and Gary Newman. It's like that.
None of those are nu metal at all.
No,
not even close.
So. But there was a certain heaviness that we had that made it easy enough for people to be like, to put us in that box, and it's just, but so I'm used to it. So I have no idea what people will try to call it, and I'm okay with that. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. How did the partnership performance with Gogol Bordello come up? Whose idea was that, and what was it like to really that performance? What was that like for you guys to do that?
So Eugene and Vera are both of Ukrainian heritage, right? And so they have peripherally known one another just through Ukrainian diaspora here in New York. But not well. And then someone suggested, I don't remember if it was him or Vera, someone said like, we should do a song together. And I don't have that well of knowledge of Ukrainian folk songs. I don't really know where that one came from. But I've been married to Vera we've been together, 21 years now. So I've been hearing these songs like at Christmas, with our family. They all pick up guitars and they all sing and they all have beautiful voices. It's like, that's awesome. Is this normal? And it's a beautiful thing to behold and to take part in, And then anyways, what was my point? It became, I don't know, someone had just thrown this idea of this one song out, and I had to find my way in with it, because I'm not Ukrainian, and I didn't want to just like it's kind of like the unofficial anthem of Ukraine. It's almost like it's because it's symbolically what the song represents. I didn't realize, because I don't speak Ukrainian. It's a song of national pride for Ukrainians, because the song, the guy who wrote the song, it was written about a girl who finds this magical flower to fall in love, but it was all kind of coded, and it was really about like the love of your nation. And he was allegedly assassinated. And so it's kind of like a fight song, even though it's a love song. It's kind of like a bit of a fight. So that was the song that we chose, and then I produced it with Eugene. The single's going to come out in May, end of May, I think. And it's a rockin'
Nice.
song, man. It's heavy as shit.
Nice.
I gotta tell you.
Yes.
And we play,
Yes.
and it's crazy because when we play, it's almost like Euro industrial metal, but like mixed with like, Gogol Bordello, and like I don't know what to make of it, but it fucking hits. It hits really hard. It's like
That's awesome.
like I'm really really proud of the production of it. It's just you turn it on, it's just like boom, you just feel it in your chest. So
nice.
We've played now live with Eugene twice. We don't rehearse it with him. He just shows up and we just do the song together, and it just works. And
awesome.
Sergey is his violinist, and Sergey played on it as well, and he got on stage with us. We did a show with Eugene has a label called Casa Gogol here in New York, and he's got a bunch of New York bands, and so he invited us to just come on stage and to do our set, with his, even though we're not on his label, he had like this Bowery Ballroom, kind of coming out of all his bands, a big celebration of a record that he was putting out. And he invited us to be part of it. So naturally we did that song with him, and it was just massive. It just feels so great. The guy is the most energetic, loving, like cool, creative, fearless dude. He's awesome. He's just amazing.
That's awesome. I kind of want to go back a little bit, and
yeah,
obviously you guys have been playing together for about a year and a half or so, but when it comes time to finally have that first gig, that first legit concert, show, whatever you want to call it, you guys are all backstage, you're walking on stage, you finally, the lights go down, come back up, you look around, you're seeing Jason and Mark and Mike and everybody, and Vera, who I would assume you've been hearing sing at home for decades now, but you finally get to see her on stage performing and singing in front of a group of in front of an audience, and everybody is finally playing these songs. What is that moment like for you and for everybody else?
Oh, it's just amazing because, first of all, here's the funny thing about Vera. She only discovered her love of heavy music really in the last 3 years.
Really?
So, yeah. Wow. And there was, I would attribute it to the Rock Academy. Jason gave her, I think his first assignment was he gave her the Trooper from, Iron Maiden, and she just got up there and then she did Duality, Slipknot. And then it was nice. I mean, it was fucking nuts. And all of a sudden she's like, "Oh my God, I think I love this shit." Like, so she wasn't always singing around the house. In fact, she never sang.
Really?
No. Yeah.
Wow.
It's really wild. It's like midlife,
amazing.
just like, I think I'm a metalhead. It's weird. It's great.
That's awesome.
It's amazing. And
I love that.
So, yeah. So, setting up for the show was really cool because we rehearsed it on and off, like for like 5 months. We could only get together like every other week, for 3 hours because everyone's just got crazy lives. And Vera was making Conjuring 4 in England. And so, we didn't get that concentrated time that people get to rehearse. Like if you're going on tour, you rehearse every day for 2 weeks for 5-6 hours. And like, even so, it takes till the end of the tour to where you're really tight and really locking in. This was funny because Jason had an awful cold and our bass player, Mike, had COVID during the show. So they both had to kind of like really rally. And it just felt, nevertheless, like with all of the stumbling, the hurdles that we'd faced to play that first show, it just felt so great. It felt great to look out and to see Vera there. It felt great to have to be able to share this album with an audience that no one has ever heard anything but like 1 or 2 songs from us at that point. Right. And, there was probably 400 people in there, and they're all just kind of like looking at it. It's like, cause it's one thing to play to an audience who know your songs, right? And they know when to move, and they know when they can anticipate the parts, and they know the words, and they can sing along, and they're out there and just enjoying it and being part of it. But when
This is
you're playing
different.
for a room full of people who have never heard much of anything from you at all, and they're just
Mhm.
kind of staring at you, you know, and it's interesting,
Yeah.
but you have to like be comfortable with that, you know, that like they're not looking at you because it's bad. They're looking at you because they're just taking it in, and you got to just like be part of that, you know, and for me that's always really exciting. I love being able to do that and to be being able to, you know, to be part of like sharing something new with a live audience, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that the response was incredible. I think people really loved it. And then to the next show that we did, which was Bowery Ballroom, you know, by that point people are starting to hear our songs more, and you know,
Hmm.
we've got our like diehard fan base that's kind of showing up and flying
Yes.
in from like, you know, fucking Florida or, you know, Denver, or driving from Virginia. We had a girl fly from England, you know, and one girl come from Puerto
Nice.
Rico. Like
Wow.
it's great. So it really
That's
resonates
awesome.
like on a very deep level. I think Crying Room is a
Hmm.
very strange song. I mean, dynamically, like it doesn't have a repeat part ever. It's got
Hmm.
you know, it's almost like a 3-act structure of like a film, you know,
Yeah.
and you have this massive explosive like chorus where Vera's just like not even singing words. She's just crying out, right? You can't come back to that, you know, and you just come down from that. Like when you have a good cry about
Yeah.
something, you just come down from it. And
Hmm.
so it was an interesting song to be the first song that we pushed out of the gates to like say, hey,
It
this is
really
who we
was.
are, you know. But for some reason, it really resonated. It really resonated. So
Yeah.
it was an
It
odd
it
choice,
took me
but the right one, I think.
it took me a few listens. The first time I'm like, this is good, but it was an intriguing song, if that makes sense. It
Yeah.
got your attention. And after 4 or 5 listens, I'm like, this is just fucking good. But finally,
Thanks.
the record, correct me if I'm pronouncing it incorrectly, but Minuet? Minute?
Yeah. Midnight Minuet. Yes.
Minuet. Okay. April 25th, it's the debut record. When you guys sit down and you listen to this record for the first time when it was finally done, what does it mean
Yeah.
to you guys to have this finally coming out and it's done? You did the thing. It's here. It's coming.
It's exciting. And it's funny because I just had COVID too last week. And so
Oh God. Oh
my
man.
calendar's just been really screwed up. And,
Sure.
you know, I do a lot of the business stuff for us, and I'm just getting caught up. And it wasn't even until yesterday that one of the guys who works with us, who has been really instrumental, and his name is Joe Poindexter. He's just kind of been our product manager and helped guide me through this like social
Sure.
media universe and the, you know, digital platforms and YouTube, and that you kind of need someone with the technical know-how to do that.
Yeah.
And he's just been a really great support system for me with that. And in any event, it was yesterday that he reminded me, your record's coming out next Friday. I thought I had
Yeah.
2 more weeks before it was coming out. So, you
Right.
know, there's a bit of panic of like, oh shit, do I have enough content to support the album once it comes out? Right. Because we don't, like, what else is there? I guess it just comes out and you release it. And at that point, it's not, kind of like David Bowie says, like, my music is none of my business. Like once you release it, it's you've kind of given it away to the world. Right. And
Hmm.
you just hope that enough people, like we were saying earlier, you know, can mine for it and can find it, you know, because you can't you can't force people to listen to it. I mean, we don't have a record label. We don't have the money. We don't have a marketing team, you know. Um, we just hope that people find it, you know, and love it. And, you know, I produced the record, and when I hear it now in its entirety, like I'm so proud of it. Like there's not a moment on it where I'm just like, and by the way, it's not perfect, you know, and it just is what it is. And I'm just so proud that we used the tools that we had available to us, and this is what we came up with. You know, it took a lot of work, to be honest with you, and a lot of time. It was a lot of on the job training for me, you know, as a first time producer. So, you know, I'm just really excited about it.
I can't wait to hear it. I've sent an email to get it. Hopefully I can get it today. Because if I do, I'm listening to
Yeah,
it all the way through, all the way
I'll
through the
remind
weekend.
her. I'll remind Barry to get it to you.
Yeah. I need to hear it, man. I love the singles I've heard. The videos are absolutely amazing. I know we didn't get to touch on those, but the videos are so cinematically good. You guys have
I
something
mean,
really
that's
good,
that. You
something
know,
really
we
special.
have really good. Well, being that Vera's an actor, right? We have access to a lot of
Mm,
really talented, great
yeah.
filmmakers who are, you know, a lot of people who like butter their bread, you know, working on commercials and doing
Hmm.
editorial stuff. Where, you know, when you say, "Hey, do you want to show up for no money and make a piece of art?" They're like, "Hell yeah!" You know,
Yep.
I need to feed my soul and be creative, you know? And so we've just built a really amazing team, you know,
Hmm.
of people. You know, Vera directed the second one,
Yeah.
because she had a vision for it. And then the third one was like our editor from the second video, she's walking down, the editor for that had a vision for Life of a Widow video. So we said,
Nice.
all right, you're directing it, you know? And it's just, I don't know. There's a lot of faith that goes into it, but
Hmm.
a lot of grit and a lot of hard work. And man, we're just really fortunate to be surrounded by such talented people. Sam Reese, who directed this video, is just incredible. He's incredible.
Yeah. You guys should be really proud of what you guys have gotten done with all of this,
Oh,
man, for
thank,
all the
thank you
work,
so
and
much.
it's very special.